All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. In this one, I wanted to ask the question, could the New York Jets bring in a consultant on the offensive side of the football at the midway part of the season, right? We are winless. We're 0-7. It seems like we're going nowhere fast. And one constant that we always hear Aaron Glenn talk about is that he's talking to other coaches. He's talking to guys that he's close with. He's talking to the Bill Parcells of the world. He's talking to Tony Dungy. And that was actually one of Glenn's biggest strengths when he was initially getting the job, right? It's that he coached under Sean Payton. He coached under Dan Campbell. He's been around other head coaches, like Pete Carroll. I mean, I guess we could throw Ben Johnson into that mix as well. He's been around a lot of guys. Former player, Parcells. Again, you have that major connection there. Glenn has ties. Glenn has a lot of relationships around the league. Could he potentially reach out and grab an older veteran offensive mind to come in and help maybe right the ship? Now, there's really only so much that you can do if you're not upgrading the players. You're never going to have a full-on scheme shift, in the middle of the season. But you can help maybe add some knowledge, some experience, and overall just another veteran voice in the room. Specifically, I'm looking at Norv Turner, right? Now, this is not me just randomly thinking about, okay, what random, offensive veteran mind is out on the open market. No, obviously, Norv Turner is the father of Scott Turner, who's currently on the Jets staff as the passing game coordinator, and the passing game has simply not gone well. And number two, it's definitely realistic. Norv Turner is still doing podcasts. He's still talking football. He's still involved in the community. I mean, last year, Antonio Pierce, I'm not sitting here saying Antonio Pierce was a good coach. He was let go, obviously. But one of my favorite things about Antonio was, much like Aaron Glenn, as a former player, he had a lot of different connections, and he was always asking questions. He was always asking, getting the opinions of these veteran minds, the Tom Coughlins, the Marvin Lewises of the world. There was even an instance where Antonio Pierce reached out to Adam Gase, and wanted to get his insight on what went well, what wasn't going well, and stuff like that, which I think is really, really cool. Like, you just have that humility about you. To me, it just feels like the exact opposite of egotistical and arrogant, right? Or arrogance, rather, right? When you have the self-awareness to reach out and say, hey, you know what? What's your thoughts on this? What would you do differently? Where do you think we're doing well? And even though Glenn might have some answers, and even though the team is probably held back due to the player talents and whatnot, it's not like we're rolling out the Bengals offense. We're not rolling out the talent that the Eagles have, the talent that the Lions have. No, it's a lot different, right? And again, being totally fair here, Tanner has not been perfect. Tanner has not been great, Tanner Engstrand. But there are moments where Engstrand is calling a good game, or he is putting guys in a position to have success. And it's just like the players that are just simply not executing. Whether it's an effort thing or, or just a straight up talent thing. But I think really what it comes down to, how many offensive coordinators can actually go out and have success if you don't have a quarterback and you don't have wide receivers outside of one, but that one in Garrett Wilson is hurt. Not to mention the AVT injury and the Braylon Allen injury and stuff like that. Not making excuses, just literally talking about facts here. If you were to poll all 32 offensive coordinators / offensive-minded head coaches, in the NFL, and I say, okay, what are your chances of success with no quarterback and, again, no wide receiver threats, again, with Garrett Wilson out? I feel like the number, realistically speaking, would be pretty low. So if I'm Aaron Glenn, what does the team have to lose? Obviously, he's open to speaking to multiple coaches. Obviously, he's not afraid to reach out, ask questions, ask for advice, my guess, right? I think that's what Aaron Glenn would be asking these coaches about, or these former coaches. So I really don't, if news comes out tonight, oh, the Jets are bringing on Norv Turner onto the offensive staff. Am I expecting this team to go from the, 28th, 29th ranked offense to 6, to 7? No. But I would expect it to tick up a little bit. Maybe they can go from 29, 30-ish up to 22. And I think if we get the same level of defensive performances, the same level of special teams performances, minus the blunders, if we have the 22nd ranked offense, like that is an offense that can actually, get in the end zone a little bit, score some points, and give the defense a break, reward the defense, reward the special teams. Because it just makes me sick watching the Jets play just complimentary football. It just doesn't seem like it's in the Jets' DNA. It's like as soon as the defense started playing well, the offense just shot downward, just went on this major downward spiral. So frustrating to watch. So at this point, again, you're 0-7. You're not making the playoffs. You're not going to win the division. You're not going to be challenging Buffalo. You got to get on the board. You got to secure a win. You have to show something. And look, the Jets were a big job. Glenn has a lot of work to do. Whoever took the job, Arthur Smith, say he got the head coaching job. Who were, Steve Spagnuolo, Matt Nagy, Brian Flores, whoever, like you're looking at the guys who the Jets actually interviewed, they were all going to be in a not so great situation. It was going to be an uphill battle. But 0-7, man, 0-7. Like, we have to see something here, man. Like, we have to see some sort of sign of life or some sort of growth or improvement from the coaching staff, specifically Aaron Glenn. Like these halftime or these 2-minute drills right before halftime are like, it's a joke. It's a joke. And I mean, we can just go down the list of all the problems so far, but I mean, we've all kind of beaten these topics to death. And I'm sure there's going to be other videos on the channel later on this week talking about those issues. So yeah, in this one, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Should the Jets reach out and bring in a consultant specifically on the offensive side of the football? Now, I don't want to say, oh, the defense is totally fine and, they don't need any help at all. No, I think extra knowledge is always extra knowledge, and that could be beneficial depending on how you look at it and how you take it. But when I look at the defense right now, you already have a veteran mind in Steve Wilks running it. You've already experienced the turnaround. The defense looks so much better, man. And I think a big part of it is, A, the reps that are being logged into the defense, all these practices. So it's looking like the Jets are more in sync, more in rhythm, which is a big positive. And they're getting rid of the players that don't fit, the Tony Adams, the Michael Carters of the world, and they're replacing them with players that, despite them being young, they look like they actually fit the defensive system. Therefore, we're seeing a much more cleaner, much more smoother defensive product, out in the field. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.